It all started with Taeyong casually chatting with Army during his late-night live. He was laughing, reading comments, answering questions like he always does. Nothing seemed unusual, until he suddenly went quiet. Taeyong looked down for a moment, his smile fading just a little. He hesitated, as if deciding whether he should really say what was on his mind. The comments section exploded instantly. "Tae, are you okay? What happened? Tell us." Then he lifted his head, eyes focused, voice deeper than before. Right at that moment, Jungkook, who was watching the live at home, noticed something wasn't right. He leaned closer to his screen, eyebrows furrowed, waiting. Taeyong took a soft breath, and then he said it, a sentence that nobody expected, a sentence that made Jungkook freeze in shock. It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic, but it was honest, and full of emotion. Army went wild. Clips spread instantly across social media, and within seconds Jungkook's name started trending, because his reaction spoke louder than words. Jungkook's eyes softened. His lips parted slightly, as if he couldn't believe Taeyong finally said that. Whatever this confession meant, it was clear one thing had changed between them forever. And this was only the beginning. The moment Taeyong's words slipped out, everything changed, not just on that live but across the entire fandom. Jungkook sat there completely still, eyes wide, staring at his phone as if he needed to rewind the moment over and over again to believe it was real. His breath caught in his throat. His expression was impossible to hide. Within seconds, his reaction was clipped and posted everywhere. Jungkook shocked after Tae's confession. "Did you see the way he looked? Taekook is real?" Army detectives worked faster than ever. Side-by-side comparisons flooded the timeline, analyzing every detail. The raise of Jungkook's brow, the way he bit his lip, his hand covering his mouth as if trying to hold something back. Some said he was surprised. Some said he knew exactly what Taeyong meant, but one thing everyone agreed on: he cared a lot. Soon after, Jungkook turned on his camera. Not for a live, but for a single video update. He didn't speak a word. He just smiled shyly and showed a tiny heart with his fingers. That was enough to send Army into a frenzy, because that smile wasn't just happiness. It was relief, as if Taeyong had finally said something Jungkook had been waiting for a long time. What was the truth behind that silent connection? What did that one sentence truly mean? The more fans tried to decode it, the deeper the mystery became. And while the world was still trying to process Jungkook's reaction, Taeyong was already preparing to reveal more. This was only the second wave. The biggest shock was still coming. While Army around the world tried to decode what had just happened, Taeyong stayed quiet after the live ended. No follow-up post, no clarification, nothing. It was almost as if he wanted everyone to wonder. But he did leave something behind. A clue. A single line in the live chat, short but powerful. "He knows what I mean." Fans paused, screenshots were taken, translations were shared, and suddenly the entire narrative changed. Who was he? Army didn't need long to figure it out. All signs pointed to Jungkook. The way Taeyong said that sentence earlier, the softness in his voice, the hesitation, the hope. It wasn't just for the fans. It felt directed at someone specific. Meanwhile, Jungkook stayed active. He liked to post about the live. A post that quoted Taeyong's exact words. Coincidence? Army didn't think so. Then another unexpected twist. Taeyong posted a story. A simple night sky photo with one cryptic caption. "For you." No name. No tagging. Just two words that spoke volumes. Late into the night, whispers spread. Was that for Jungkook? Is he responding to Tae? What did they talk about before this? The tension between them had never felt so real, so close, so fragile. And if that weren't enough, a fan noticed that both of them were online at the exact same time. For almost an hour. Private messages? A phone call? A plan? Whatever happened in that silent hour changed everything once again. Because the very next day, Taeyong decided to reveal the rest of the truth, and this time, no one would be able to ignore it. The next day arrived with a weight that couldn't be ignored. Fans woke up still buzzing from the chaos of last night, but Taeyong remained silent. No explanations, no clarifications, just the echo of his words that refused to fade. "He knows what I mean." Army waited minutes turned to hours. Speculation grew louder and louder. Then without any warning, Taeyong went live again. The screen lit up with him sitting quietly, a soft hoodie on, hair slightly messy, like he hadn't slept at all. He smiled, but it wasn't the usual bright, playful smile Army knew. This one felt nervous, vulnerable. Even after greeting fans, he looked down at his hands, voice low. I said something last night. And it seems like many of you noticed. The chat exploded instantly. Taeyong glanced at the screen, then shook his head with a shy laugh. Sometimes, there are things you want to say for a long time, but you just wait, hoping the other person will say it first. Right then, millions watching felt a chill. Was he talking about Jungkook? Taeyong continued, lips curving into a small, wistful smile. He watched the live. Of course he did. And we talked after. The comment section went insane. Taeyong looked up, eyes warm, shining with something real. He understood me. Like he always does. No names, no details, but everyone knew exactly who he was. Just when Army thought the moment couldn't get any heavier, a notification appeared at the top of the screen. Rabbit-faced Jungkook is watching this live. Taeyong saw it immediately. His expression changed, a tiny gasp, followed by the softest, most genuine smile. The kind that only appears when someone special walks into the room, and for a brief moment, it felt like the whole world disappeared, leaving only the two of them and an unspoken truth hanging in the air. What Taeyong said next would send shockwaves far bigger than anything before, and Jungkook's reaction. That would break the internet. The moment Jungkook's name appeared on the screen, Taeyong froze. Not the kind of freeze from last night. This one was filled with adrenaline. He tried to continue speaking, but words suddenly felt heavier. Army spammed the chat. Jungkook is here. Tae, look at him. Taekook lived together? Taeyong's cheeks turned a shade pinker. He cleared his throat softly. He's watching, so I'll choose my words carefully. Even through a screen you could feel his heart racing. And just when fans were trying to calm down, Jungkook entered the live chat. Not with a greeting. Not with emojis, but with a single message. I know. Taeyong's eyes widened. He read the comment again, and this time he smiled like he couldn't hold it back anymore. The silence was deafening, millions watching, unable to breathe. Taeyong finally spoke. Then you also know why I said it. Another message popped up from Jungkook. Say it clearly, Hyung. The challenge, the tension, the electricity. Fans could practically feel the moment building toward something inevitable. Taeyong leaned closer to the camera, eyes shining with honesty. Stop making me do all the brave things. The chat exploded into chaos. Everyone screaming. Everyone crying. Everyone hitting replay already. But then, Jungkook sent the message that broke the world. I'll come over. Taeyong's breath hitched. He looked away. A nervous laugh slipped out. Right now. No response. Seconds passed. Each one louder than the last. Then Taeyong's doorbell rang. The room fell silent. Taeyong turned his head toward the door, eyes wide in shock. Millions watching held their breath with him. He stood up slowly, almost afraid to believe what just happened. His bare feet moved softly across the floor, each step uncertain but desperate. Taeyong reached the door. His hand hovered over the handle. He hesitated for a moment. He looked back at his phone as if asking silently, should I really do this, in front of everyone? The chat became a hurricane. Open it. JK, is there? OMG. Taekook moment live? With a shaky exhale, Taeyong turned the handle. The door opened just a little, enough for the light from the hallway to spill into the room. And then a familiar voice. Tae. It was him. Jungkook stepped inside, hoodie up, breathing fast like he'd run the whole way. Their eyes locked, stunned, emotional, terrified, relieved. Taeyong's lips parted, unable to speak. Jungkook laughed nervously under his breath, one hand rubbing the back of his neck. If you keep saying things like that, I have to show up. The tension was electric, raw, unfiltered, real. Taeyong whispered. You really came. Jungkook's eyes softened. You asked me to understand, and I do, but sometimes, I want you to say it to me directly. The chat was in full meltdown, crying, screaming, documenting history. Taeyong glanced toward the phone, suddenly remembering the millions watching. Jungkook followed his eyes. Turn it off. His voice was low, serious but gentle. Some things are not for everyone. Taeyong didn't move, he just stared at Jungkook, with fear and longing tangled together. Finally, Taeyong reached for the screen. The last image viewers saw Jungkook stepping closer, their silhouettes almost touching, Taeyong's hand trembling as he ended the live. Click! The screen went black. The internet exploded. But behind that black screen, that's where the real story began. The silence after the screen went black was louder than any scream. Taeyong's phone lay face down on the table, notifications buzzing like distant thunder, but neither of them moved to check it. Jungkook stood there, only a few steps away, close enough that Taeyong could see the rapid rise and fall of his chest. For a moment, neither spoke. There were no cameras and no comments and no audience. Just them. Jungkook took a slow step forward. Do you know how long I've waited? He whispered. To hear you say something like that? Taeyong swallowed, voice barely audible. I was scared. Jungkook's eyes softened, but his frustration was painfully clear. Scared of what? That I'd run away? That I wouldn't feel the same? Taeyong looked down, hiding the fear in his expression. Scared that saying it out loud might ruin us. Jungkook reached out, gently lifting Taeyong's chin so their eyes met. Tae, you could never ruin us. The words trembled between them, fragile but true. Taeyong exhaled shakily, his defenses slipping away. Everything I said last night, it was about you, that it's always been you. Jungkook's breath hitched. For years, feelings unspoken had built walls between them. Tonight, those walls finally cracked. Jungkook whispered. Then don't hide anymore. Taeyong stepped forward, closing the remaining distance. Their foreheads touched, quiet, intimate, a promise. The world outside was screaming, but inside this room, everything was calm. Jungkook's voice softened into a smile. We'll deal with the chaos tomorrow. Just stay with me tonight. Taeyong nodded, and for the first time in a long time he allowed himself to choose what his heart wanted. Not fame, not fear, not expectations, just him.